Hey, everybody, it's Jim Hankey with the Vinyl Emergency Podcast. You're listening to the Hood Rat Recap Podcast.
Well, Nelson Algren came to party. What's a party at the Dead End Valley? And he told us what to celebrate. I remember William Butler Yeats. Sunday night dance party was summer 1988. At first I thought it might be William Blake.
We got bored. So we started a podcast about the best bar band in the land. Man, this is the Hood Rat Recap, and we are back with your steady stream of the unified scene, all the news and reviews of the band that you love and we love. And Chicago seemed kind of hard to get to last night. There was cancellations where there should have been flights. Hello, everybody. This is Stage Right Mike on the mic, and I can talk hold steady all night. And when I like to talk hold steady heavy, I throw up the rat signal, and just like that, the Hood Rat Pack has assembled. And hark, I can see him high-stepping in now in his little Boy Scout and Girl Scouts of America outfit. He's got his little red handkerchief, his little tan shirt with all his, looks like Heather did a hell of a job sewing all his little buttons on there, and he's got the short shorts, and he's got the black socks smartly pulled up to keep the poison oak from spreading to his upper inner thighs, if you know what I mean. It can only be the unified scene's very own King of Queens, Gaspar. Gaspar, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man. That was the longest intro I think I've ever gotten. But you know what? I've been trying to get people to call me Direct Flight.
Why? Why is that, Gaspar?
Because I always take the quickest route.
And how is that working out for you?
Not good at all, man. Not good at all. People keep calling me 8-hour layover in Columbus.
That sounds like a root canal is what that route was. Yeah.
Has anybody ever called you crash and burn? Because that's what you just did. I mean, maybe you shouldn't say crashing and burning when it comes to planes, but honestly, that was awful. Awful. I know you had some horrendous travel because I got texts, I got phone calls while you were sitting in the airport, so I feel bad for you, but that does not excuse that piece of shit Freddie Knuckles that you just came up with.
Oh, just so you know, Beth helped me write that one.
You know what, Beth? You were good. You had my win. Don't put this on poor Beth. Beth is not here to defend herself, you son of a bitch. Beth, I if that was you, it sucked. Kevin! If it was not you and he's putting it on you just to try and get points, still sucked. But crash and burn is what we will call you moving forward.
And that's the sound of our third mic and our producer. Kevin is whenever. Kevin, how you doing today?
I'm doing great because I didn't have a single travel delay, unlike some other people on this podcast. I was able to get everywhere I needed to go last weekend. Freely, too. It was beautiful. We had some rain, but we got around. But we'll get to that in a bit. I know we did get a speak pipe because I could see Mike glowing.
We got a number of speak pipes, actually.
Yes, but we got one specifically that we're going to start the show with because Mike is very happy. That's how I know. Like, if you didn't know by the intro of the show how happy Mike was, the fact that it was 15 minutes longer than normal, that's because of the speak pipe we got from Damon, you know? In fact, Mike's intro to you was better than your Freddie Knuckles. I mean, we might want to just do Mike's extended intros and cut to Freddie Knuckles. But Damon had some feedback he wanted to give us via SpeakPipe, so maybe we should check that out.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hey fellas, Damon here. Thanks for having Tad on again. He's always an interesting listen. A few comments on Freddie Knuckles. First, total disrespect to the amazing Alan Tudyk, making him the five alive in this analogy. Second, has everyone forgotten what Warren Zevon looked like? Over the weekend, I saw a picture of him wearing a headband. I almost photoshopped it to add a headlamp. When discussing the maps with pins and strings of piecing together lyrical storytelling, Tad gets her way too much credit by referencing A Beautiful Mind. I think most of us would agree that the more applicable choice would have been It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Stay positive, friends.
Damon coming through with the speak pipe.
Thanks for that, Damon. That was pretty good.
Thank you, Damon, for that SpeakPipe. We appreciate it. Glad you enjoyed the Tad episode. We enjoyed chatting with him. And now to the real focus of our story was the Hold Steady in Chicago, which kicked off with a bang as Gaspar had quite the excursion getting there. For those that met him in Chicago, you probably heard the story. I heard it. I wasn't even there. I got the play-by-play. So, Gaspar, why don't you tell the people that have no idea what happened?
So it started off with I had a direct flight from New York to Chicago, getting me to Chicago at like 10 o'clock in the morning, which would have been perfect. Go see a couple things or maybe grab something to eat before I hooked up with Mike, checked into the hotel. Well, that got canceled the night before, which there was weather coming. I was aware that there was weather coming. I was hoping it wasn't going to really affect me, but the storm was pretty bad, and so they canceled the flight. So I'm like, all right, let me rebook my flight. So when I go to rebook the flight, there are no direct flights. There's only connecting flights. And the best flight I could find that would get me there in time for the show would be a layover in Columbus, Ohio for 5 hours.
All right, so hold on, though. Let's start with this. We live in New York City, which is really one of the travel capitals of the world. We have 3 close airports within 15 miles of where we live. 20 if you put Newark in. So there was no direct flights from New York to Chicago that you could get on. First off, what airline canceled on you? Who messed you up?
American Airlines was a nightmare all weekend.
So they are a big airline. It's not like you were on, no wing.
Right.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I did not, in fairness, check Newark because I never really bother with Newark. It's out of the way. But nothing out of JFK, nothing out of LaGuardia. So I set up for this 5-hour layover in Columbus, figuring I'll kill some time at the bar. I actually read Martin's book. I finished it because I'm a slow reader and I was still reading, but awesome book. Definitely check that out. And so I get to the end of my 5-hour layover and they tell me, well, your flight's canceled again. So I'm like, all right, we wait for the next flight. This happens 3 more times. So basically my flight to Chicago in total got canceled 5 times. By the time we got to the last cancellation, it was 7:30ish.
What time did you start traveling that day, and what time did you get to Columbus?
So I got to JFK for 4:30 in the morning because I'm crazy and I always do 2 hours before. But the flight was 6:30. I was in Columbus by 9. So from
Is
9.
TSA even there at 4:30? Like I've taken the first flight out, but I had no idea. Like I've been to airports where like they're not open and you wait till TSA gets there. But.
Well, I mean it's JFK, like you said, it's a hub. They don't close.
All right.
So by the time I get to the 4th cancellation, now it's like 7:30 at night.
And that's a show day.
Yeah. Which was my mistake. Like I learned on this trip, one thing I definitely took from this trip is book an extra day for a travel day for this exact reason. But no, I was traveling on a show day and I knew I wasn't going to make the first show. So that took a little coordinating because the hotel was booked in my name. The tickets were in my name. And Mike is already in Chicago. Mike drove to Chicago. So I'm like on the phone with the hotel, making sure he could check in. Brendan from the band management actually really helped us out to make sure Mike and his girlfriend can get in and use the tickets. So thank you very much, Brendan, for that. You were amazing. And so now we get to the last flight that gets canceled. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm not making the show tonight anyway. What time can I fly tomorrow? And they're like, well, there are no more flights tomorrow either. I'm like, no flights at all. They're like, no. So when are you planning on flying me? And they're like, Saturday morning. So I'm like, well, that's just not going to do. So I run downstairs to where the rental cars are, and I'm literally going down the line trying to rent a car. And I don't tend to rent cars. I think the only time I've ever rented a car is if my car was in the shop and needed, a car to tool around New York with. So I found out the hard way that they don't like doing one-way trips with rental cars. They want you to take it, drive it, and then bring it back. I'm looking to take the car from Columbus Airport, wherever I was, to O'Hare and just drop it off when I'm done. And the very last car rental company, which was Hertz, so shout out to Hertz, thank you for taking care of me, rented me a car that I could drop off at O'Hare Airport. And so I drove what should have been a 6-hour drive and turned into like about a 7.5, 8-hour drive due to the weather, because now I'm driving into this weather. At one point, I even pulled off the road somewhere in Indiana. I called you, Kev, because I'm like, it's raining so hard I can't even see. So I'm just gonna.
You did. You were coming out of Burger King, though, so you were getting fast food somewhere, and you're like, it's pouring here, and I was like, I was just in Columbus last month for a festival, and interesting enough, a manager who I was with lives in Chicago and did the exact same thing that you did. His flight was in Columbus, got canceled, and he rented a car, but he did stop halfway, sleep, and then finish the drive the next day, where it was a couple hours and like fine.
I mean, I guess if I was working and tired, I could see that, but like it wasn't that bad of a drive. I would do that with proper weather. I would have been more than fine. Although I will say, I don't know if there's a Midwest thing, but it's like it would pour down rain for like a couple of minutes and then just stop. I'm like, where's the rest of the rain? You know,
I can attest. I just got kicked off this. I just got kicked off this chat because it rained like crazy, and now it has stopped. So. Yes, that is a Midwest thing, yes.
You guys just don't tolerate rain for longer than 3-4 minutes? Is that the way that works?
It's part of the deal they made with God is that you can't let it rain for a full day. So, like, they get 4 hours, like 4 or 5 minutes of torrential, and then it stops.
Right. Well, the other thing I learned about the Midwest is, like, or at least in Indiana, there's traffic for no apparent reason for like a mile stretch on the highway. It's just like, I've never seen anything like it. It was like standstill. It just out of nowhere stopped and it would not move for a mile. So the GPS is now diverting me off the highway and I'm in the back roads of Indiana, not knowing where the hell I am. And I'm getting back on the highway now, a mile down the road, and the entrance ramp, there is the largest cross I have ever seen in my life. It had to be about 3 stories tall. It was gigantic. I'm like, where the hell am I? So now I'm driving like the last leg of the trip, and I'm seeing that something's going on at the show. And something about shelter in place, which I will let Mike tell that story. But from my perspective, I'm driving. I can't really read the text messages. I call Heather and I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, there's a tornado about to hit Chicago. I'm like, okay, where am I? I'm like, can you look and see where I am and how far I am from this tornado? Because I am driving to it. And thankfully, it all worked out fine. But it was 22 hours total travel time from New York to Chicago. I probably could have driven there direct and saved myself a lot of money.
I mean, I love a good road trip, so honestly, that would have been fun. And the thing about one-way car rentals is very true because they don't want to have to, even when you're taking it to another Hertz, now that location's down our car, so they either have to send a runner to go pick it up or hope somebody does the one-way back. So it's an inventory thing, even though it's all computerized.
Right.
I never want the one-way, leave it half of it.
So what you're looking for if you're ever in that situation is you're looking for, they gave me a car with Illinois plates because that was a car that must have come one way to Columbus, and now they have to get it back. So in a way, I'm doing them a favor because I'm getting the car back to them. It didn't stop them from charging me like $400 and something. But
you're the transport, and that was for one day, $400. Did you keep the car the whole weekend?
I mean, I could have kept it longer, but I just wanted to get rid of it because I was done with it. So, well, because Mike had his car there, and Mike, there's parking in Chicago is not fun.
So, what time do you get to your hotel room that first night?
2:00 in the morning.
And that's after you return the rental car too?
Yeah. So I drove to O'Hare, dropped off the rental car, grabbed a cab to the hotel. I was there in like 15 minutes, and then woke Mike and his girlfriend up.
This is great.
He offered me biscuits when I got there.
Yeah. And some food.
Is that a Midwest thing? Like if you're getting guests, you greet them with biscuits, or just because you thought he might be hungry? Like...
Did the room reek of like barbecue? Because we just had a bunch of barbecue. We didn't have plates or anything, so the room must have just reeked of barbecue. But we had biscuits left over.
I was so tired I didn't even notice.
So this is like planes, trains, and automobiles. I mean, at least that movie, they weren't trying to get to Chicago. Ooh, yeah, they were trying to get to Chicago in that movie. So it was just like that, exactly.
Yeah.
You think
so
you're
when he got in bed that night, did his hand end up between 2 pillows, Mike? Because that'd be concerned.
Those aren't pillows.
We had separate beds. So, but my travel story and everyone else's travel story sparked a whole bunch of speak pipes. So, Mike, why don't you introduce these? Because we got quite a few. I was happy to see it.
Well, we heard about all these travel stories affecting the fans, but does it affect the band? Does it, or the people around the band? And so we got somebody that's a band adjacent that sent in one. So let's listen to that right here.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
What's up? This is Josh. Some of you guys call me Mosh Pit. Anyway, I had a 5 p.m. flight out of Hartford the night before Thalia Hall. Boarded an hour late. Sat on the tarmac for 3 hours before they canceled it. According to American Airlines, the earliest I could get out of Hartford into Chicago was Friday morning, a.k.a. the day after Thalia Hall. The only option I had to get into Chicago on time was to hop in my car at about 10 p.m., drive my ass over to Albany, spent about exactly 4 hours at a airport Marriott before taking the 6 a.m. flight out of Albany to Chicago. Got in town just in time to take about an hour nap at our hotel there and got my ass over to Talia Hall to work what ended up being the band's best per-head merch night of their career. So probably not the worst horror story. Definitely not ideal, but did what we had to do to get to the gig on time and get it done. Cheers, y'all. See you in Portland or wherever you end up next. Bye-bye.
Mosh Pit Josh!
So did you hear that, Kevin? They had the biggest merch night of all time, and we just discussed the fact that Gaspar did not make the show. So
he did nothing. So really, Gaspar
help.
has brought the band nothing for their biggest merch night. He helped them at zero.
I mean, I helped out the other merch nights because I bought my shirts those nights.
But that wasn't the biggest merch night of the year. And to that end, too, Josh was booked on a flight the night before. So maybe you now have to plan 2 days ahead because he was supposed to leave the night before and he didn't get in. So really, how far back do you want to go to make sure you get to these Hold Steady shows?
In fairness, this is the first time this has ever happened to me. And I've gone to England, I've gone to a whole bunch of places. So
I always apologize to Gaspar because when do I, last year, I think I got the Massive Nights at Tuesday morning or whatever. And I was like, I'm sorry, I just don't want to get a flight canceled. And now I'm not going to apologize anymore. I'm going to start showing up Monday morning and stuff.
I know.
Good on you, because as a real fan, you were there to contribute to their biggest merch night of the year while Gaspar was literally. And maybe you should have called Josh because you could have went to Albany. It's 3 hours from here to get to Albany. You could have made that same 6 a.m. flight.
Well, to that end, the merch was particularly good at this show, I have to say. I wound up buying 3 shirts, and I would have bought the hoodie if there were more hoodies. It was kind of cool. But they had the Salt Shed logo with the girl with the umbrella. They had so you're familiar with Old Style beer? Mm-hmm. It's a big beer out of Chicago, local brewery. Yeah. So they had it done in that style, and then they had one with the skyline, which was pretty cool. So I bought all 3.
Of course you did. But after they were already broke the record. But that wasn't just you or Josh. I had seen in the Facebook group a whole bunch of people were giving away tickets for that Thursday night or, hey, I can't use my thing. It seemed like it was a bit of a epidemic going on.
A number of people had problems.
It was like watching that TV show Lost, when your favorite character would die and you're like, all we kept hearing is Garrett's stuck. He can't get, he's got 3 flights canceled. Gaspar's had 5 flights canceled, and Little Rock Lizzie can't even get to the tarmac. And then so it was just you're just hearing it, and you're like, oh, I like that person. Why aren't they here? So let's so here's what Garrett had. All of a sudden, Garrett showed up on the last day, but let's hear what he had to go through.
Hood Rats, been meaning to call in for a while. Now seems like the time. It's Garrett from Brooklyn. Most of you know me as the real tall guy from the Massive Nights, who tries not to get in anyone's way too bad. Anyway, I was hyped for the Chicago run, had tickets to all 3 nights. As with so many of you, I got a little blown up on the spot by the combination of some rough weather on Thursday, plus some weapons grade incompetence from American Airlines. Got to JFK about 8 o'clock on Thursday.
That's it.
That's where it cuts out. We'll just react to it. And
I think American Airlines got him. Because first off, all you guys are shit talking American. It seems like you all have the same problem, but I think American might have taken Garrett out. So apparently American Airlines really hates to Hold Steady because they kept a lot of their fans and even their merch guy away from them. So wait, does American owe you money, Gaspar? Because you rented a car. So what happened to those flights that you didn't use?
I feel they do, but like they don't feel they do. They told me something about act of God. So whatever.
Wow.
I shan't be flying American again.
My Lord. And again, Garrett, I hope you're okay. Garrett, if you hear this, or if you're already planning, send another speak pipe, because I want to know how this story ends.
Yeah, his first voicemail got taken out halfway, just like he did on his flight in.
Yeah.
Even his voicemail got canceled halfway.
I think American has a vendetta against anybody connected to the Hold Steady.
Well, Garrett assured me that he's going to re-record that speak pipe and send it along. So assuming he does, we will place it here.
Hood rats. Garrett from Brooklyn. Love the show. Hey, I heard you were looking for travel stories from the Chicago weekend. I was all hyped to come in for my first big Hold Steady Midwest residency in the greater Chicago region. Had tickets for all 3 nights. Due to weather and some massive American airline incompetency, I got to the airport about 8 o'clock on Thursday morning. They pushed my flight back all day long and ended up spending about 12 hours in JFK to not get off the ground. Couldn't even get anything for Friday, so they pushed me all the way back to Saturday. Managed to get into town, drop my bags off just in time to see Built to Spill and, of course, our boys. Unfortunately missed Bully and Titus, but got to see both of them come out for the Chill Out tent, which was certainly a highlight of the Hold Steady set for me. Another big highlight, always happy to see Arms and Hearts. That's a top fiver. But maybe most importantly, after all the headaches, just getting to share some high fives and Tecate toasts and big hugs with my fellow members of the unified scene. So even though it was a disaster, still totally worth it. Happy to see some of you guys there, and much love to the whole scene. Can't wait to see you all in Brooklyn for the massive nights.
All right. Well, we will check that out when it comes in. But we got other speak pipes too, right, about travel? Like, it wasn't just Josh and Garrett. We have more. I mean, I was reading about it all day on the Facebook group. So when you called me that you were stuck, I said to you, I'm like, I know you love the band, but come home. Like, at some point, you just have to go. Well, time is valuable.
Again, I had Mike's tickets. I had the hotel reservation. Like, I would have not only screwed up my weekend, I would have screwed up Mike's too. So I wasn't going to do that.
Mike had already checked in. Mike saw the first show. He was at Talia Hall rocking out, spending merch money. Like, literally, he was supporting the band where you were trying to figure out if you should rent a Hertz or not.
Well, one thing I'll say is the ticketing situation was bizarre. And I think that was a combination of Salt Shed being a Live Nation place and Hold Steady selling tickets through, what are they called again? SoundLink, which is the lanyards thing. But like it got very confusing, and at one point, I'm not really sure how we even got into the Salt Shed show. But,
really?
Yeah, because basically, so, I mean, just to get into that story quickly, Damon had sold, he knew he couldn't make the show. He had sold me an upgrade for the rooftop lounge, which I was like, you know what, it might be a good idea to have that access to a better bathroom. Like, if it's too hot, we can go up there, kind of cool off. So I bought his, and he had to like go back and forth with them to pass it over to my name. When we got to Salt Shed, which was the third night, every place we went to, it was basically a list. There were no tickets. Even though I had QR codes from SoundLink, they weren't really working. We were just working off of this list. And so we didn't have a problem until we hit Salt Shed. And they were like, oh, yeah, we got your name here. And they gave me my bracelet for Treetop Lounge. And we were going to try to buy another one. And they were like, well, you don't have another ticket. I'm like, I have 2 tickets. What do you mean? And they're like, no, we only have you down for this bracelet thing. So they were going to let me into the show based on this upgrade that I bought from a ticket, but they didn't have me down for the tickets. And it wasn't until I pulled out my email. They were very good about it, let us in, no problem. But they literally handed Mike a paper ticket. And I was like, all right, man, whatever, we're in the door. But that all was kind of a mess. So I'm glad I made it, and Mike didn't have any issues getting into shows and stuff.
I mean, well, I will get to Saturday when I get to Saturday, but we have some more speak pipes, Mike?
Yeah, let's jump into, so Little Rock Lizzie sent us one. Let's hear what Little Rock Lizzie had to say.
This one's a mess. Let's hear it. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Little Rock Lizzie checking in with a horror travel story. My flight on Thursday was canceled due to the apocalypse hitting Chicago. I was at the airport from 8:30 in the morning until 2 when they canceled my flight. So I decided to rebook for Friday. Get to the airport on Friday and see that the Chicago flight has been changed to a different gate. So I'm waiting at gate 5. And eventually I realize, oh, wait, my flight was at gate 3. So by the time I get to gate 3, the gate agent was there and said, we're done boarding. Your plane's pushed off. So I explained that I'd been at the next gate down, waiting for a flight to Chicago and requested to be transferred. So my bad, definitely missed my flight, but was able to get on the next flight. Luckily, able to get on that flight. It had supposed to have been leaving at 6 a.m. that morning, but due to mechanical issues starting at about 10, it was delayed. We didn't leave until about 1:15. Finally got to Chicago around 3:30 and enjoyed the rest of the weekend, however short it was. Was really good to see family and friends there and stay positive.
All right. Yeah, Lizzie had one of the harder treks for sure.
Oh. To Lizzie's credit, though, she sounded very cheerful in her speak pipe. So the fact she got there must have made her very happy. But, like, I would not. You guys really had taken this way better in stride than I would have.
The one thing I was to say, when you'd see somebody show up, it was just like, when you're on a battlefield and you see someone still alive, you're just like, Lizzie's here, or Garrett's here. You're just like, you'd get so excited that you couldn't believe you're actually looking at them. So that was one positive of the weekend, I would say.
All right, and we have one more. Why don't you introduce that one, Mike?
This is my favorite kind. This is a first-time caller, Lisa, and Lisa, and she has a great one. So let's give it a listen.
Hi, my name is Lisa. I'm from LA, and it was definitely a wild ride to get to Chicago. I was originally cutting it close anyway. My flight was supposed to land at 5:30 p.m., so I was like, okay, now I'm going to just have to jam to my Airbnb and then get to the show. And then my flight got delayed by 1 hour. I was like, okay, we'll figure it out. And then my flight all of a sudden wasn't going to leave until 2 p.m. So, I was still trying to think of lots of ways that I could get to the show, store my luggage, back to store it. And then that whole thing went to shit as well because my flight ended up getting diverted to Minneapolis. Wow. So needless to say, I did not get into Chicago until 11:30 p.m. I had to, accept that I was definitely missing that show. But I had a lot of good things happen too. I did not have a ticket to the Empty Bottle, and I was able to get one from somebody who also had flight trouble. Shout out to Garrett. I'm glad he made it to the last show. And I actually had a really great time and ended up meeting two awesome gals from Chicago. I don't usually get to interact with too many female fans, so that was great. And Salcha was great too. So, it's a great community. I got a lot of good feedback from the Facebook page and lots of people rooting for everyone. So stay positive.
All right. Thank you, Lisa, for that. And to her point, I mean, yeah, there was a lot of travel interruptions, but I think people really did have a good attitude about it. And it speaks to the community and how everybody's really looking forward to this. And you got to get there, man. You got to get there and see it because that's what it's all about. So,
yeah, I think what we learned is you can't take these shows for granted. We've gone to so many, we start taking them for granted, but they can be taken away just by a delayed flight, just like that. So every show we get to is just a gift, and I think that's what we all learned this weekend, and we're getting ready to talk about those shows.
Yeah. Actually, why don't we jump into the Storyteller show? Because I'm dying to hear about it because Mike got to go and I didn't. So take it away, Mike.
The band's pretty tight, right?
So, Mike, what did you think too when Gaspar called you and was like, "I'm not going to make it"? Like, were you like, "Oh shit"? Like, now I'm going to go. Like, Did your girlfriend go with you? Was she supposed to go with you? Like,
she was not supposed to go with me, and she ended up going using Gaspar's ticket because Gaspar got over to Brendan. And like we said, Brendan was the star of the show. You know, here I am going to watch a show in the land of Lincoln, and he gives me the Lincoln balcony seats. So I got some balcony seats. You know, I don't know the guy, the smart ass that was popping the bag behind me every 10 minutes making me jumpy. But no, I got the balcony seats, and they were amazing. My girlfriend got to see a storyteller show where she got to sit down, and, you know, she previously saw a sound check. So now she's seen a sound check and a storyteller show. She still hasn't seen a regular show. She did in Massive Nights. She got to see the Separation Sunday played through. So that's the closest thing she's seen to a regular set yet. And she's fine because she doesn't like to stand up that long. So it's been great for her so far. So yeah, so here we are at Talia Hall. It's a building from 1879. I know our UK listeners don't think that's that old. Maybe you New Yorkers don't even think that's old. I don't think Minnesota was even completely settled yet in 1879. It was a beautiful building. It was just like an operatic. I mean, obviously it had these balcony seats that were just beautiful. And I mean, I was very impressed with the venue. And they started out with a brand new song, Handle. So off of the, you know, it seems to be one of those songs that's tied in with the new songs that, you know, Jupiter. Have you heard Handle yet, Gaspar? Or was this the first time they played it?
So I was curious about that. Is it a new song or is it just a renamed song? Because, I mean, we've heard 10 songs at the Massive Night Soundcheck, which we originally thought was going to be the album, but we've since been told that's not the album, right? Because they may take stuff off, they may change it. They weren't ready to call it an album. So is Handle a song we've heard before and they're just calling it something new, or is Handle a new song added to the 10 that we're already aware of?
I feel like it's one we've heard before with a new title, but it sounded really amazing, and I'm really getting eager to hear these new songs here.
What was the vibe of the song?
Like,
would it give us an idea what it sounded like?
Now I'm mixing all the songs together of the weekend, but I believe it was told from I think it might be told from the other dude's point of view, where he's like she still has a boy she still likes. Okay. I think that's what I just know that the song was really awesome. And then, so I'm reading from Setlist FM. So I'm going to read directly from Setlist FM. Number 2 song was Understudies, parentheses, tornado warning interrupted the set after the song. The set resumed after about half an hour, end of parentheses.
Okay, so 2 things there, because before we get into the tornado warning, with Handle, do they come out on stage and introduce it as a new song, or do they just start playing and the whole audience is like, we don't know this song? Because diehard Hold Steady fans kind of know everything, and it's a little unfair when it's a brand new song, even if we've heard it at the Massive Nights listening party. Like, they play 10 songs. It's hard to completely remember with no point of reference to go back to. Like, did they introduce it like, hey, this is something new and go right into it? I'm just curious how that show kicks off.
He went right into it, and in fact, Lee was sitting close enough that he could read the set list, and he texted it to me that it was called Handle. Otherwise, I had no idea what the song was called at that point.
Oh, wow. Okay, gotcha.
That's exactly what happened. Yep.
Cool. Right. So, what was the evacuation like? So now you're evacuated from the theater.
All of a sudden, we see a stagehand, or I guess a manager, run on stage, start whispering into Craig's ear, and all the other band members are just kind of intently looking on, quizzically. And then all of a sudden, Craig says, "Okay, we have a tornado warning, and we must all shelter in place and leave." And then they came on and gave us the instructions to shelter in place, which basically meant we all took the Goodfellas walk. We all walked downstairs and we walked through the kitchen, and I filmed it on my phone, Goodfellas style. I did it all in one shot.
You got it in one shot. That was my question.
We were all, the lighting, I don't know how the lighting was all in place perfectly, but we walked through, and we walked through the kitchen and down to the beer cellar. So I guess Chicago, of course, will have a beer cellar. Every place in Chicago, I think, has to have a beer cellar. So we went down there, and for a while, they accidentally put the band in with us, in with the masses of unwashed down there. And and then they had to move them out. So then they had to awkwardly squeeze by us. And, Chriselle, my girlfriend, said they had to awkwardly squeeze by her, all 6 of them. So, so it was quite a thing. And I think it's my hypothesis. I think this really set the tone for the weekend, because I think this set a couple things in motion. where I think it was just a really loosey-goosey weekend after this, after they come back on stage. I mean, what can you do? They came, after a half-hour interruption, they came back on stage, and it was really loosey-goosey. And, this is a really approachable band. We all know what an approachable band this is. But, later in the weekend when we had the, what's that called, the meet and greet, or maybe you've been to other meet and greets before, Gaspar. I have not, but the band was really approachable, coming up and talking to us. When we're waiting in line at the salt shed, Craig came down and started saying hi to us, and I'm like, "Don't you have a show to get to? Why are you saying hi to us?" Yeah. So it just really changed the whole weekend. I think because of the situation, I think everybody was loosey goosey and approachable, and it just made for a magical weekend. With people popping in after delays and stuff. It was just a crazy weekend in general.
One thing I could say is, did you see the pictures that Lee posted? Because he's got some
black and white
amazing shots, and there's one.
We should say the show was in the round. It was the first time they ever played the round, and Lee took a video where he went around the round during when they were doing sound check, and it's one of the coolest shots I've ever seen. Yeah.
He's got a shot in particular where it's set back a little bit. The band is on the stage in the middle, and they're all kind of facing in towards each other in this particular moment. And the audience is there, and it just captures the whole vibe of the place. It's just such a beautiful shot. I actually asked him, are you selling that one? Because I'm interested, and I'm hoping he does put it up for sale. He actually started a new Instagram account. I think it's called Certain Songs _UK on Instagram. Check out, because he's been putting 1 or 2 shots up there, but I think he's going to build that into something a little bit bigger. But it looked incredible.
How many people were at Talia Hall? What do you think the capacity was for that one, Mike? Especially that you were all then in a basement, with the band.
Yeah, we were all in the beer cellar. Then it seemed like it was oversold. Boy, it was pretty. I guess I should have looked that up. I usually look that up, and maybe it would have been 1,800. Maybe I'm trying to guess.
Oh wow,
okay. Was it that big? Because I was going to say usually the storyteller shows tend to be, I would say between 300 and 500 cap.
Well, that's what I was thinking. And if you're all going to be in the basement,
that makes more sense. Yeah, because I was thinking not the whole upper level wasn't in use. So yeah,
and there's usually the harder shows to get to. Those are the ones that and the small shows are the ones that are hard to get tickets for. So I would think that makes sense. But it looked like it was an incredible show. I mean, you got a great set list. I mean, I know they're playing a lot of these songs on the Storytellers shows now, but I would have loved to see it. The Epaulettes, how was Epaulettes as a Storyteller song?
Oh, a funny story. He goes, so Craig admitted, he goes, yeah, we're reading the fan pages, and he goes, one guy was getting really upset about why we never play Epaulettes, and all of a sudden some guy, and he goes, is that you? And he goes, well, this is why we didn't. So some guy is sitting in the fifth row, and he started having a conversation. He goes, yeah, we used to have background vocals, and our producer just put them all over the song, all over the place, willy-nilly. And he goes, so now we're going to play it without the background vocals. So now they just figured that they play it without the background vocals, and it works out a lot better for them. So hopefully this guy and the rest of us will start to hear it a lot more often now. So that was a funny story. So,
and there's a song on the set list, Osmium. Is that another new one? Because that one I don't remember. That's not a title that stands out to me. Is that another new one under another name?
I think that's a title we've heard before.
Is it? Yeah. I don't remember it off the top of my head, so I'm just curious. And clicking on the set list, they've only played it 5 times, so it's not like a big song they've played often.
Yeah,
but I didn't know if you knew that one.
Yeah, and he introduced it as being awesome and as heavy metal, and he goes, this song isn't very heavy, and I was thinking he should have said it's not very metal also. Yeah.
I mean, you got quite a few of the new songs. It's Elijah, Osmium, Cal Expo, and Handle. So that's 4 out of 15 songs are songs.
And I don't want to sound like a fanboy, but those songs sound amazing, and I want to get them laid down and recorded so I can start digging into them because, and Gaspar, I'm tearing out the red yarn. I'm already tearing it off the wall. I don't need it anymore. After this weekend, I feel like I have a really good grasp, even though it's like Pulp Fiction. You hear all the songs out of order, the story out of order, kind of like Pulp Fiction, but I think I got a really good grasp on the story. And
all right. I look forward to talking about that record when it finally comes out because, I mean, I've heard drips and drabs here and I can kind of put some of it together, but I need to sit with that record and a set of headphones and spend some time with it because there's definitely going to be stuff worth looking into there.
And the last note I have is they ended with Oaks. Charlemagne in Sweatpants was not on this. This is the first Story Setters, I think, that has skipped that song. That song's been a huge highlight, or second to last, or last song usually. And so they did not play it this time. So that's a change.
But looking at the set list, it's like you could tell they've kind of hit their groove on picking songs that are going to lend themselves well to this, right? You get Multitude of Casualties like in a different way of doing it. But then when you look at songs that like Modesto or A Slight Discomfort or Both Crosses, like these are songs that don't normally get played in the Maiden set, but people do love them. I mean, and it's a perfect forum for it because it fits here way better. So like I do appreciate that that's what they're doing. It must have been a good night. I wish I could have been there.
Biggest night of the band's career.
Yeah. No thanks to Gaspar, who didn't include.
No thanks to the King of Queens.
I made up for it.
You didn't represent Queens at all. And then we get to Friday's show, which Gaspar finally makes, right?
Before Friday's show, there was a meet and greet. So,
all right.
We should talk about that because I know you've been waiting to get to this part of the episode. So
I was going to politely let this part pass because I felt like you've embarrassed yourself enough. You have a wife and a child that had to see this, but I'll let you tell it because I was all over it.
So basically, we were all heading to a place called Elston Electric, which is kind of a barcade, like an arcade that's a bar, on the campus of the Salt Shed. It's part of Salt Shed. And prior to going there, I went and hooked up with Bill, and he had some lovely friends in town that we hung out at a pretty cool, I guess, microbrewery is what it would be, and had a couple beers there, and then he drove us all over to Elston Electric. Mike was heading towards the airport because his girlfriend was heading back home, and that's always a nightmare in the middle of the day in Chicago.
So, like I didn't say it, this is the fourth time I've driven to Chicago for a Hold Steady show. I was going to fly, then I got my spider senses kind of went off when I couldn't get a Wednesday flight. So then I decided to drive, and I was driving through a car wash. I got forced out. I know Matt from Minneapolis got forced off the road for a slight while. Where was I going with this? So the frustrating thing about driving to Chicago is it's 6 hours. The first 5 hours are 85 miles an hour, and the last hour you get into the Chicago city limits, and you're doing 20 miles an hour, and that takes a whole hour. It takes longer than half the trip. So so I had to go to the airport, hour out, and an hour back just to get to the airport, just to go from Chicago to Chicago.
Right. So Mike met me at the barcade, and that was very cool. It was the whole band, as Mike said, hanging out. All very approachable, actually hanging out with us. People were playing video games and pinball and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. And so I had planned something for this show, which I know Kevin's been waiting to talk about. If you've seen the poster for the show, it's this Boy Scout uniform shirt, but like done up as the Hold Steady. And so I had gotten this idea of like, could I recreate that shirt? And so I did. I found a shirt that kind of matched and found some places that would make patches for me. And then Heather, I have to give Heather credit because she put this whole thing together. Has recently started playing with iron-ons and actually made me a bunch of patches that looked like patches, but they were iron-ons, and they came out very cool. So I showed up to Elston Electric in my Boy Scout uniform shirt with all the Hold Steady insignia stuff on it and some Hood Rat Recap stuff because you got to promote the podcast. And I felt it was a pretty big hit. I did ask Mike if he would be too embarrassed to be seen with me.
And my answer was not any more than usual. So
correct.
That was my answer.
And for everybody listening at home, I've changed my name for this episode to Embarrassed for Gaspar. So I'm having enough embarrassment for anybody. Apparently, he had no sense of embarrassment. I'm sure it was the talk of everybody in that barcade place was like, what is going on with this creepy old guy in a Boy Scout uniform? Because that's what I would have said.
Well, it went out pretty wide because Brendan, who does the social media, took a picture and posted it on the band's feed. So that was pretty cool.
And the worst part was you couldn't just stand there. You had to then do a salute, and you literally were playing into the role. And when I asked you about it, you said you didn't know it was the poster, so I had to dress the poster. And I'd like to politely remind you there was a poster of two turtles fucking. So you owe the scene you dressed as a turtle. At least for one show. Because that was a poster too. And if the rule now is whatever the poster is you're going to dress as, you owe me one.
I wouldn't say it's a rule, although it has been done before. I definitely got to give props to Ella, who originally recreated a poster the last time we were in Chicago when it was the Mountain Goats and D4 playing with them. And that was the poster with the jacket, the jean jacket with all the patches on it and stuff. And she handmade all of those patches, which was pretty incredible. So I 100% borrowed that idea from her and recreated the Boy Scout shirt. I was kind of glad that she didn't also do the same, because that would have just been weird.
So let me ask one more question. Out of all of the people that traveled everywhere to go to the show, how many others were dressed like Boy Scouts?
Oh, I was the only one, for sure.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we were.
Listen, you got to have fun at these things. You got to have fun.
He wouldn't wear the short shorts. I told him that he wouldn't commit to the short shorts. Like I
mean, what most people don't know is I've known
to
Gaspar probably almost 35 years at this point, and like his fashion sense is not good to begin with. So when
That's
I
fair.
see him
That's fair.
in this outfit in public and now posing and plastered all over the Hold Steady's Facebook page, I hurt for this show. It made me wait for this moment to go, I would like to formally apologize on behalf of the Hood Rat Recap podcast to all of our listeners that had to see that visual of Gaspar in a Boy Scout uniform. And the best part was, I love your mom. I've known her forever. It was like, it's such good memories of when you used to be a Boy Scout. And I was like, that's the moment I was waiting for.
I don't think we've ever addressed that, but yes, my mom is a member of Positive Posting. I don't know how that happened.
I don't know who let her in.
Somebody
let my mom in.
Some people have asked me if that's my brother, because her name is Don Shaka. I think she thinks she's being cryptic by picking a guy's name or whatever. But so yeah, you will see sometimes her giving her support on my posts. Positive Posting.
So wait, did the band see you in this outfit? Like, did Tad, who was on our show, saw
Tad
that?
was actually the first person I saw, stopped and talked to for a little while, and thanked us again for being on the episode, and very cool. And Craig actually took some interest in it. Like, he was really looking at all the patches like, oh, wow, you did this one, you did that one. So it was a hit, believe it or not. I would like to say it was a hit, but...
All right, congrats. I mean, I'm glad. Thank you to the scene for putting up with Gaspar in that moment.
And Elston Electric was cool. I mean, there was so many people there that, Kevin from Chicago and Rachel and Beth was there, and like everybody. It was a lot of fun. We kind of took over the place. Bill was there, and Bill actually pointed out to me that at the back of the arcade, which then led you into Salt Shed, there was a weed dispensary. And I'm like, wow, man, like times have changed. Mm-hmm. It's like you could just go buy your weed right there and then go into the show. But that was a lot of fun. And then we headed over to the Empty Bottle. Actually,
just one more thing about the meet and greet. Was this like a formal setup thing? Like, did you have to have a ticket? So you call it a meet and greet, and usually, when what I do, it's like a ticketed thing, or like you pay to get in, or like some.
So it was a weird setup because, and I'm not really sure if this is probably, again, Live Nation getting involved in stuff, because it was outside of the norm of what they would did. You had to be a 3-day ticket holder to attend this, and then it was kind of included in the cost of your package. It did seem to me that they skirted around that issue eventually. I know of one of two people who just like, yeah, whatever, you bought 3 tickets, just come in, and I'm not surprised, because the reality is like, you're going to drink at this bar. You know what I mean? We're all going to drink. We all drink a lot. Don't they want to sell drinks?
And I'm not 100% sure I'm not 100% sure they found my name on the list. I think they just said, you're in. Because I don't think it was a...
No, because so that one we didn't have a problem with, because it was me plus one is the way that was. So I knew we were taking... Yeah. Because they had me down for the 2 3-day tickets. But I know there were other people who, specifically Matt, because Matt walked in with us, and I know he had bought 3 singles. And they were just like, yeah, you're good. Just go in. So it was very cool and a lot of fun. And then we went over to some little small bar. I don't even remember the name of it. It was a cash. There's a few cash only bars in Chicago, and we were watching soccer with Dave Gottlieb. Actually, he wound up popping in.
Yeah, Dave came in and he was very interested in the soccer game. Yep.
We had gone there to meet up with Erin, who we've befriended ever since Philly and have seen her at Massive Nights. So it was very cool to see her. And then we walked over to the Empty Bottle, which this was the show I was looking forward to most out of the whole weekend. I know, Mike, you've been to the Empty Bottle before, but to me it seemed like it was one of those venues that like it's kind of legendary and it's well known over there. The Empty Bottle is actually the original, and then Salt Shed is owned by the same people, but it's all, I believe, Empty Bottle Incorporated or something like that. Mm-hmm. So all of these venues are, I think even Talia Hall is owned by them as well.
Yeah.
But that was a very, very cool show. Real small. Kevin, you would have hated it.
So we went.
I take it was asses to elbows in that room.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's shaped like a V, so you got to either go left side or right side. And I always told everybody you got to choose right side, Tad side, Rad side, or you got to choose Galleon side, Willian side. But we went right down the crotch. We went right down the middle. There is a little middle to it, a little middle crotch, and that's right where we got in there. We snuck in there.
Yeah, it was packed, but a lot of fun and hot as hell. That was probably one of the hottest shows. That Minneapolis, in 7th Street Entry was probably about as hot.
Hotter.
It's like in that ballpark where, man.
Well, I wasn't dressed like a Boy Scout, so I was a little bit.
Right.
I wasn't quite as hot.
The airflow around you was better than Gaspar's airflow. I got you.
Yeah. So we kicked that show off.
Double polyester.
Yes, it was. Although I will say the Boy Scout shirt, the shirt that I had bought to be the Boy Scout shirt, one of the benefits was like in the breast area, there were zippers that like let you kind of like throw stuff as a pocket behind the pocket. You know what I mean? Like where it's almost you can kind of conceal stuff. And so that's where my confetti went, which was awesome because I didn't have to hold the confetti the entire show.
Gotcha.
So I kind of liked having the Boy Scout shirt. But that set was pretty amazing. We kicked it off with a positive jam, which is always welcome. It was a great way to start off the set. And we got some great songs. We did get a new song, and I thought they had said this, and it's confirmed on Setlist FM. It's the live debut of Aladdin Ruts, which, again, like all of this new stuff sounds so good. It's like, to me, on the level of like when Open Door Policy came out and how that record was just embraced as like an instant classic. I think this is going to be the same because these songs are definitely on that level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, these songs, you see more of a through line, I think, even more than Separation Sunday. Separation Sunday, I'm like, how do those songs relate? But these songs just definitely relate to each other. So I think it's going to be a very different album than we've ever heard from before.
Right.
And you got Bronco, too, which I think we have heard before because that title definitely stands out as one.
And Jupiter.
We've heard.
Yeah,
and Jupiter
as well, yeah.
But then you also got Big Sig, which is also cool. Like, so like you got some real deep cuts. And I noticed they walked out to the Pumpkins on Friday night, according to Setlist, which is interesting. I know there's a Chicago
tonight.
Yeah.
Did they do that last year when you were in Chicago? Yeah, Tonight from Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness.
I don't remember what they walked out to last year. We could probably look
it up. I was just curious though, because the fact they chose
it wasn't the Pumpkins. I think this is the first time I heard the Pumpkins at it. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong.
So, Mike, what was your favorite part of that set?
I'm just really digging the new songs, like Aladdin Ruts. We had to look it up later because we couldn't hear what he said. I thought he said Atlantic something, Atlantic Rats or something. But yeah, so it was just I like hearing the new songs. I got a new appreciation for the Empty Bottle, just being up that, because I always told everybody you got to be left to right, and then here we went down the middle, so I got a new appreciation for that. And I just think the energy in the building was great. People were starting to show up. Like finally, you were at your first show, and other people were starting to show up for their first show that got kind of flight delayed the night before. So
I wonder how much of that is a part of it too, because there were a number of people who they were finally getting into town. This is where they're starting their weekend, so it had that energy on top of it being a small intimate set. So, and this is also the first of the 2 rock shows that are going to be played. You have your storytellers like a little more stripped down and mellow. This was us getting into it. So it really made for a special night. That encore was incredible.
That encore is, I looked it up. It's really impressive.
Right. I mean, I like when they throw Blackout Sam in the encore, but I mean, I think, Kev, you've talked about this before, getting sequestered in Memphis as part of the encore is pretty cool.
It's weird because I don't mean it like in a negative way towards them, but like if you ever go see especially at a rock show where you find like the one-hit wonder band, they always play that hit at the end. They're not going to play it up front. And probably, now not as a diehard, but if you were a casual Hold Steady fan, the best chance you've had of probably hearing anything publicly is probably Sequestered in Memphis, because that's what I remember hearing on the radio here in New York. I remember that song kind of breaking through. So for a lot of people, that would be their big hit. So it's interesting now that that's really... I'd almost wonder if they didn't have Killer Parties where it is, if that would be their finale, because you go and you like all those cuts, but like... It's an interesting thing, and I think I love it in the encore. I think it plays so well because it's a great way to go. Now, when they have the horn steady, I do like it earlier, but for when it's just them in the encore is a cool moment.
That's an interesting idea. We should at some point dive into the set lists and see what was the songs that were the go-to songs before Killer Parties became the final official song. Because it's kind of semi-recent that Killer Parties became the final official song.
And we're getting Oaks at the Storytellers. This kind of seems like to be the official final song.
I want to feel like I've seen them do Resurrection as a last song before, and there's Slapped Actresses I think I've seen them do as a... I could be misremembering that, but I feel like those might have been... It'd be an interesting experiment to take a look at for sure.
Okay. So this is my second Empty Bottle show, and I want to ask our listeners that have been to a lot of Empty Bottle shows, because I went to the first one at the Goose Island when they were supporting drive-by truckers at Goose Island the night before, and they did not play Chicago Seems Tired that night either, because that night at the Empty Bottle, it seemed like we were going off the rails. It seemed like anything was going to set the crowd off, and I'm like, maybe that's why they didn't play it. But, this night was not all that super crazy, and they did not play Chicago Seemed Tired last night in Chicago at the Empty Bottle. What up? Do you guys think there's something behind that, or what?
So I think we'll get to it when we talk about the Salt Shed set, because he did make a mention of it. I wonder if he's concerned that he would not insult people, but make them feel that he's kind of dogging on Chicago. You know what I mean?
Oh, the first time I was there, I thought the roof might fall off the place if he played it, and then this weekend, I don't know why he did. I was like, maybe they'll play it this time, and I go, maybe he's afraid to play it at Empty Bottle. Maybe it's too small of a room.
I do think
that
though.
Rowdy.
I do appreciate that they don't play it every show. Like they don't make a thing out. Like they pick one show to throw it, and I almost feel like if you're going to save it for generally the biggest show, it's probably the Saturday show. So
right.
I do like it, just like they don't play Boston and Boston. Like that, I like that if they have those songs that actually reference a city in the title, they're pretty. Because we've discussed Chicago Seemed Tired last night, that they haven't played it every show. I think there might have even been a weekend where they didn't play it at all, and we were like, "Oh, that's bizarre." So I kind of appreciate it. I think it's too easy of a pop for them to just throw it out every time. So to wait for the one song, and I also agree with you a little bit too. Like maybe it's a little bit of a kind of a put down type of song to the city, but
it could be taken as a dig for sure.
Yeah. And I wonder if that's. I also wonder if they ever have it in. They're just like, let's not play it tonight because Chicago's kicking ass. So let's just leave it alone. And then they realize we do have to play it, because that'd be an interesting question. That's probably a Craig question, because talking to Tad, he puts all that together. But I wonder if it's ever in the set and he's like, you know what? Let's not play that tonight. Let's play, Southtown or whatever we're going to play instead.
We'll save that for the next Q&A. Mm-hmm. So then we do the...
Well, do you go out after the Empty Bottle?
No, we went home. I was so tired.
Oh, Gaspar was dead. I was dead.
There were people going out, but we were like, you know what? Let's just head home.
Okay.
We passed out. Poor Mike had to deal with my snoring.
Did you go to Portillo's for a hot dog at least?
Did we even eat?
We had Chicago dogs at the Salt Shed, but we didn't go to Portillo's.
Oh, you didn't go to Portillo's.
No,
all right.
Yeah.
But then But we should say, the reason we were so tired is that was the day we had the little Chicago outing where we got a lot done.
Yeah. So while Chriselle was in town, we wanted to do a couple of Chicago things. So we did 2 little excursions. Mike, why don't you take this?
We started out at the Willis Tower, and I don't know why they changed the name. It's always been known as the Sears Tower. So we went up to the 103rd floor, where they have the little glass balcony where you can stand on the plexiglass and
the lean overlook.
No, this overlook. Is like they build like a cubby,
like the Grand Canyon a little
where
bit.
You walk out of the building by like a good 2 feet, and everything around you is clear. Which is not my bag. That is not.
And I made Gaspar look down, and we got a funny picture where he looks really scared.
So he convinces me, he's like, just come take a picture. And I'm like, all right. So I go out, I'm like, I'm not looking down, I'm just going to take a picture. And I was already feeling kind of nervous. And if you see the picture, you can see the look on my face. But then at one point he goes, you have to look down. And I looked down, and I think I lasted a microsecond more because I was off that thing.
But I did my skydiver pose. I laid down on the glass and did my skydiver pose, looking straight down. And then we had some fun pictures. We took a picture. They have a little Second City set, and it looks like, when you look at the pictures, it looks like me and Gaspar on stage at Second City. Yeah. So that's pretty
I got
cool.
a great picture of there's a whole Chicago thing going on, like a little walk through museum before you get to this.
Yeah,
this area.
I'm rejecting Michael Jordan.
Got a great picture of Mike's like stuffing Michael Jordan as he goes up for a layup.
I think I saw that one. It's very hard to believe that you had those ups.
And then we headed over to Mr. Beef, which Mr. Beef, if you're not familiar with it, is it's the Italian beef sandwich shop that the show The Bear on FX takes place in the first season.
Hulu.
At least. Was it Hulu? Which I love that place because it's literally, when they filmed their first season, they filmed it at the location. It's not a set. They didn't try to rebuild it or reimagine it. It's exactly the way it looks in the show, which was the atmosphere is almost as good as the sandwich because the sandwich is amazing. I highly recommend it.
Oh, get this dipped sweet. It's dipped, Kevin. It's so the bread's all wet and it's messy, but it goes down. It goes down. Yeah.
Is it $30 like when you go to Katz's for corned beef?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that bad at all, actually.
Okay. No, I was kind of happy with the price. I didn't think it was that. I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't crazy. Yeah. So that's why then we went to the Empty Bottle, and that's why we were exhausted. We had quite a day.
All right, so you did a little tour of Chicago.
For 22 hours.
Then you also had to drive your girlfriend back. So, there was a lot. So I could see you going to bed. And then Saturday is really the party day.
And Saturday was
start out early. You start drinking early?
Not so much drinking, but we did start out early because there was a Q&A event. So like I said, the Salt Shed has the rooftop lounge. And so you go up there and it's all like couches and comfortable chairs. And they were doing a Q&A with the producer from Boys and Girls in America, John Angelo. And hosting it, I was unfamiliar with him at the time, but Jim Hankey of Vinyl Emergency Podcast, which is apparently a very well-known podcast because I see that they have 1 million episodes. They've talked to a bunch of great people, and he does a great show. I definitely check that guy out because if you don't already, I'm new to it. I've been listening, and I'm really into the show.
Yeah, I got into it because one time he had Atmosphere, and he definitely had the best podcast that Atmosphere's ever been on. And then the very next week he had Craig Finn, and that was one of Craig Finn's greatest podcasts ever. So I've kind of been listening ever since then, that he started out with that strong 1-2 punch. And
he's a great interviewer because, if you think about it, they're there to talk about Boys and Girls in America, but Steve's not part of that. He wasn't around yet. But he managed to get Steve in. He managed to get Bobby talking, which almost never happens. It was a very good interview. And there was a point in the interview where I contained myself, but just barely. Because so John Angelo, talking about some of the relics from back then, takes out this composition notebook, and it's the notebook he used for the whole session of recording Boys and Girls in America and all the notes and ideas and stuff. And I'm like, oh man, I would give my left arm to just have a peek of that book. But I behaved myself.
and this is the first time we met, or we've mentioned John Angelo. He was there all weekend, and it started with I guess he walked backstage at Talia Hall, and this is when Steve in a southern accent said, "You guys all lit up like a Christmas tree" as soon as he walked in. So the guys just love him. And then what he said during this interview is that he's a famous producer, but this album meant so much to him, and it's been a big part of his career also. So I thought that was really great that he said that, and I thought that was amazing. Yeah.
And so some of the stories that were relayed, we've heard them before. If you've gone to like a sound check show or something like that, where Craig talks about a producer who introduced the idea of like, here's a calendar. These are the days we are working. These are the days that you will be off. And it was the first time that Craig had ever recorded that way, where he describes it as like you would show up to a studio with a case of beer and whatever happens, and then like trying to get people back the next day always gets jammed up by a dentist appointment or something like that. Like this was like them really putting it in the work as if it's a job, which I've always thought that was a cool story, but it was kind of cool to hear it from John Angelo's point of view and like, why he does it that way and how he thinks it helps the album. And it is one of their best records, so it definitely worked.
I mean, I'm just looking up John Agnello now on
Am I
Wikipedia.
saying his name wrong? Is it John Agnello?
That's what this Agnello, so we're going to say it's Agnello.
God damn it.
But like when you look at...
I said it wrong too.
I mean, he's worked with Kurt Weill, Bruce Springsteen, Dylan... He did Screaming Trees, Sweet Oblivion. Like there is quite a resume to this gentleman, and
it makes it more amazing that the Boys and Girls in America had such a huge impact on him when he's worked with all these other great artists that you just mentioned. So
I mean, it's amazing.
But you can tell
it's
he's
quite
really
the discography.
Happy part of his career.
Yeah. So very cool. We also got he managed to work in some questions for Franz about testifying in front of Congress, and that whole bit. So it was kind of cool to hear that and from Franz's perspective. One of the things he spoke about during that, which I got a kick out of, is that he says, so the room is less impressive in real life than what they present on TV. He goes, because this is all basically Hollywood. And he goes, you could almost see the difference in the tiers of politicians where like the guys who wear makeup versus the guys who don't wear makeup because they're probably not going to get the screen time that the other guys are. And it put things into perspective that it's like, yeah, man, even in Congress, it's just a damn show,
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
But very cool event. And so at that point, then we
walked out. We started walking around the grounds of the salt shed. And yes, I said grounds. It's like do you think it's like a college campus? I got lost. We've been in the salt shed before for the indoor show, and this is the outdoor show. Every time I went in, I would get lost. It's like it's quite an impressive facility.
It's an interesting setup. So you have like the main venue, which basically used to be a storage facility for this salt company. And it's like a big airline hangar, it's huge. And then where we were is what they call the fairgrounds, which is just to the left of that. And it's basically a big open space. They have a large stage, food trucks, that type of stuff. And then there's also a section which is like a shopping mall where like there's a clothing store or there's like merch store for Salt Shed. And then like there's a whole upstairs part where this Treetop Lounge was. So it's a pretty big place and very cool venue. It's one of the nicer places I've seen a show for sure.
I just want to go back to the Agnello bit for a second. When you say that the record was so important to him, it's basically because up until the time he did that record, he was basically an engineer. So here's a paragraph from his bio. Agnello admits that it took him a few records to learn how to truly produce a record, coining himself as more of an engineer with an opinion than a proper record producer. It was at an early 2000s iteration of South by Southwest that Agnello first saw Brooklyn-based rock and roll band The Hold Steady. A few years later, the band asked John to produce what would become their breakthrough, Boys and Girls in America, during whose sessions Agnello found himself growing as a producer. He worked more closely with the band's main songwriter, the deadpan and uber-loquacious Craig Finn, than he ever had before, shaping and honing songs on a micro level while still acting as a records engineer.
So you got to realize this guy is part of the reason that the Hold Steady sounds and is the way they are, because he found his voice to become a producer. It's interesting to hear that, because this is on his website, so it's one thing you guys said it, but like, that's really cool. That's a cool thing. I wish I would have been there to see that, but that probably would have been super interesting to see that Q&A and hear them talk about that.
Yeah, it really was well done, and like I said, the interviewer was great, and John was great, and the band was great, and it was nice to be on comfy couches, I'm not going to lie. But
wait, are you starting to get closer now to the... You want seated shows?
I mean, there are times where seated shows are fine. I like seated shows. But, I mean, maybe that's a good segue to get into, like, so now we're getting into the main show, right? It's almost like being at a festival show, because the lineup was pretty incredible. I mean, you have Bully, you have Titus Andronicus, you have Built to Spill, and Hold Steady. So it's 4 bands that, like, most people were here to see. You know, I mean, Mike, would you agree? Like, out of that lineup, how many bands were you there to see?
Yeah, I liked everybody but Built to Spill. You know, Titus is always a good thing. And then, like I said, I come from this suburb. You've been here, Gaspar, a suburb of 31,000 people, and that's where Bully's from. She's from the same suburb. So, and she's amazing. I think she's like a Courtney Love, but more, like I said, more approachable, more poppy. She's bringing back grunge, but it's more of a poppy grunge, and I really enjoy her. She's got a great voice, great stage presence, and so
she was really good. I kind of got like Liz Phair vibes from her. I don't know.
That's a good fair comparison.
Yeah.
And then we got to go up and eat when Built to Spill came on stage. I know, like Lee was saying, I like them, but they're the least I want to see. And I was like, they're the only band I don't really care if I see. And I think you said the same thing, Gaspar. So then when Built to Spill was on stage, it was nice. We got to go eat. And then when they were on stage, I was like, all right, all you fans are Built to Split. We're coming up now. And then Bill kindly reminded me, he goes, yeah, that's Built to Spill's family up there with the wristbands right there. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. So we did go up to the lounge, because it's admittedly, like, I don't really know Built to Spill. I remember when they were, you know, around and like touring and stuff, they never really crossed my radar. They sounded great. They're not a band I have a reference point for. But we did go back up to the Treetop Lounge, because part of the upgrade that we bought is there's food being put out. I'm like, you think like, all right, yeah, well, there'll be sandwiches or, you know, whatever, hot dogs or whatever. The food was impressive, I thought. Like, there was all
buffalo
kinds of stuff.
Cheese focaccia.
Right.
And then we thought they're putting hot dogs out. It was kielbasa. It wasn't hot dogs. It was kielbasa on a bun with sauerkraut. Yeah, it was pretty good.
It was very, very cool. And I'm curious to know, like, what you think as far as, like, I've heard a few people say, well, was the upgrade really worth it? And so it was $80 on top of whatever ticket you bought to be up there. And
did that include alcohol or just food and the location?
So what that basically got you was you could be up in that lounge. You can come and go as you please. There's all these couches, Adirondack chairs that you can view the show from. You are a bit far from the stage, but if you want to be comfortable, like, that's kind of the price you pay. They put out that food spread. There was a welcome drink, which was like a weird champagne thing, which is not normally my bag, but we drank it anyway. But one of the biggest selling points to me is, like, it's air conditioned, it was cool, it was comfortable, and, like, there's a bathroom that was like a fancy hotel bathroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
so
that's nice to have.
To answer your question, Kevin, I ate $80 worth of food alone, and I put about 3 gallons of urination into that fancy bathroom. So for me, it was worth the $80.
I was going to say, that sounds like it's worth every penny. I think I would watch the show from there.
I honestly, if I went back there, I was saying to Heather, like, if it was me, Heather, and Jackson, I think we would automatically be watching it from there, because it's a great place to relax, and he's not overwhelmed, and, like, you still get to see the show, and it's kind of nice. So
you're going to tell me you left though and went right into the crowd and
100%. I was proud of us, by the way, because so now picture you got Bully playing. Was Bully playing first? No, Titus played first.
Titus was first. Bully's
and so he had a very respectable crowd, and people were into it. But it was the type of show where, like, you had some elbow room. You know what I mean? You can kind of move around and maybe talk to people, watch the show, whatever. Then Bully plays. And it gets a little bit tighter, but it's still pretty loose. Like you can move around, you can move to the front, move to the back, no big deal. Built to Spill, I think they had their crowd there. I didn't really pay attention to how thick it was, but it seemed pretty thick. But like, we went down to go see the Hold Steady like moments before they took the stage.
Yeah,
and I had it in my head that like, we're not getting to the front. It's not going to happen.
And I was being a typical a-hole. I was saying, you guys are built to split. Get out of here.
But we walked right up to the front. We were, maybe 3 people back, Tad side, Rad side?
Yeah, we got up there. It's kind of like reminded me of the Minnesota State Fair when Bob Mould played, and then everybody there's like after he opened for the Hold Steady, and then there's just like a mass exodus after he quit, and we just ran to the front.
I mean,
very much like that. Yeah.
Did you see the pictures of the crowd though from up on top of the treetop lounge when Hold Steady was playing? Like it was packed. They
it's
had
a big room. I think it's 3,500, 4,000 cap. It's a good size room,
So but again, this is in the outdoor like fairground, so I don't know what that holds, and if I would imagine it's less than what's in the building because the building seems longer to me, and just as wide. And plus it's good. They also have like bleachers in there, and they have an upper level, so I think it would probably hold a bit more.
Very impressive. This is one of my favorite venues I've ever seen them at. I think if the State Fair if they would have had the general admission instead of the seats, it would have equaled that. It was great. It was really good.
One thing I will say is I probably could have stood a little bit further back. Did you find that the sound was very bassy? Because I thought it was very, very bassy.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but it was a big play. It's a big space to fill up the sound. And we should say Bully had 3 songs scratched off. I don't know how many Titus had scratched off.
2.
They were rushing the sets along because it was a threatening of rain again, as we keep talking about. And it turned out to be a beautiful night. And when did the show end? It ended very early, like 9 p.m., I think?
Yeah, it was done by like 9:30. Basically.
Yeah, very early.
So it wasn't too bad.
I mean, you got a hell of a set list looking at it.
It was incredible. Yeah. So this was kind of like the hits, right? Like it's most of what was played, and that's kind of what you expect going into a show like this. Like
that's starting to be their Saturday night set list. It's starting to be like a hits list, is what I think. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't say it's all hits because we definitely got a few. Like it's not often you get Same Kooks. I mean, that's one that kind of stood out to me. They did play some new stuff. You got, what did we get?
Malachi and Jessica.
They did pull out a new song. Along the lines of the weekend kind of being cursed with weather and issues, I got to give it up to Franz because he is a professional. So I couldn't tell what was wrong with the keyboard. It had something to do with a wire going down to a pedal that the stagehand was trying to help him with. And like the guy's doing the best he can, and you could see Franz is getting frustrated. And at one point, like now he's just doing it himself. Like he's ripping wires out and he's under the keyboard grabbing stuff just to like get it all done.
And you'd pop up to do his background singing. So he's under there.
It got to the point where he's got to sing. And in the middle of this, he's popping up and then singing in the microphone and popping back down.
And then pops right back down to work on the wires. Yeah.
It was impressive.
And he looked great. He had a pinstripe suit on, and then I was like, "This guy must be frustrated." And all of a sudden, he put the double thumbs up to Craig, tell him that everything's all right. And then his daughter had her 13th birthday that night, so it was a big night for Franz, and he was playing amazing. Right. And such a professional to have. I think they inverted the wires and put the wires in the wrong way, and so he had to go fix it, and so that has to be frustrating.
Right.
And like he was like a pro. When he gave the double thumbs up, I was like, "Really? You're good? That's great." Yeah.
We did we did sing "Happy Birthday" to Franz's daughter too. It's listed as track 5 on the set list.
Cool. Yep. That's very cool to have a whole room of people singing, and then you got. Because I guess you had guests. You had Chill Out Tent.
So not only did we get Chill Out Tent, this was probably one of the more epic Chill Out Tents because so you have Patrick Stickles from Titus, and you have Alicia Bagnano from Bully.
I think that's how you say it, yeah.
Yeah. And, so they're going to do their parts. And you've seen it before. Craig's going to do the narration, and then we're going to go to the female, and then we're going to go to some more narration, and then we're going to go to the male. But Patrick was not having any of that. So we get to the part where Craig's going into the narration for the guy part of the song, And Patrick just kind of leaps up front and kind of like puts his arm in front of Craig and starts singing the narration part.
Oh, wow.
To which like Craig's now cracking up while he's playing. It was hysterical.
The whole band was cracking up. Yeah.
And then
it was crazy.
So wait, did Patrick do the narrator and Craig sing the guy part, or did
No.
Patrick just sing over everything?
Patrick took over the song.
All right. I was just curious because that would have been a fun twist if Patrick would have done the narration and then Craig
And then
would
he
have
did
been the guy part.
he did
back.
a little Carrot Top. He sung they gave me oranges and cigarettes, and he pulls an orange out of his back pocket and lobs it into the
Right.
pit. So yeah,
The actually Cammie wound up catching like the perfect shot of that. She's got this picture that she took with an iPhone, like sheer luck that it happened, of like Patrick throwing the orange into the crowd and the orange is in focus and Patrick's in focus. Like it's a great picture. You can go to the positive posting page and you'll definitely see that up there because it's definitely up there. And then that orange became a beach ball. It started getting tossed around the audience, and then it became orange juice, and then that got tossed around.
Even worse. Wow, I mean, that looks like a great set. You got most people at DJs, which is always fun. Of course, you got Mosh Pit Josh, so good thing he made his flight.
Right.
Because otherwise that might have changed that moment.
Yeah.
And we had a great crew. I mean, so Fur was there with his girlfriend, and I believe his kids were there. David was there, and Beth, Lizzie was there at that point. Like we were all together, which was very cool.
Yep.
And I believe this was the show
Allison
that
and
like,
Buddy.
Yep, Allison and Buddy were there.
Craig,
Kevin from Chicago, and then this is the point that I think Garrett just barely made by the skin of his teeth, right? Because he wasn't at the Empty Bottle show. But like, just as they go
I think he just
on,
made it for this set. I think he just got there about the start of the set.
I think he did because he literally, like, just as they were starting, tapped me on my shoulder and was like, "Hey!" And I'm like, "Gary, you made it!"
Oh my god!
How was the confetti game in Chicago?
It was
There was
pretty
no
good.
Yeti appearance, so that was a plus.
I think there's a lot of confetti virgins because I was trying to hand it out. And they were like, no, people are waving their hands no. And I was like, come on, it's less than 8 ounces. It's pre-cut. You just take it. It's just confetti. Come on. But so a lot of people were freaked out by it, I think. They didn't know what they were getting handed. But
I
noticed
say
that a lot in Chicago.
I wound up not bringing my confetti to the outdoor show because I'm like, well, it's outdoors. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to have any place to put this stuff. And, we'll skip the confetti this time. And there was plenty of confetti to go around. And it was a pretty strong showing.
And there was a side balcony, and they threw the confetti from like 30 feet up or whatever. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just kind of raining confetti from way up. Yeah.
So the show was great. And then what'd you do post-show?
So post-show, Kevin from Chicago took us to this very cool bar.
Kevin, you should have seen it. I thought I was in Lake Street. It was like a replica of Lake Street. It was about maybe 2 feet wider than Lake Street. Maybe but it was
Now, is this an official hangout after party like they do in Brooklyn, or is it just sort of like everybody was going their own way afterwards?
I don't know where people were going, but this was the night that the Knicks won. This was Game 5. And so everyone was looking for a place to watch the game. I have to assume the band was because I know they're all Knicks fans.
So we watched it on a 16-inch TV with about 400 other people. It was just
I got to say, if I'm not a big sports guy, as you all know, but like it felt like this is how watching sports used to be. Like you're crowded into this bar and
tiny TV.
Right, you have this small TV. The bar's cash. There's no cards. Like it's like this old school. It was pretty cool.
The TV was so small you had to squint to see the score. It was.
That's great though.
So thank you for showing us that place, Kevin from Chicago. That was the Old Time Ale House. Just kind of felt like you were getting to see like real Chicago going to a place like that. You know what I mean? So it was a good wrap up for the weekend for sure.
Awesome. And then everybody's travel home was okay, I hope?
I was still delayed going home. Not as badly, but like, we got a little bit delayed because then I'm flying into weather in New York. So like I was getting hit from both ends.
And Mike, how long a drive is it for you? 6 hours, you said?
6.5. Oh, well, it was probably closer to 6 going home because when you leave on a Sunday after a whole steady show, there's Chicago. The only time there's not traffic is Sunday morning. It makes so I get home about 40 minutes quicker going home just because of that. Yeah.
So it sounds like it was a great weekend. And,
it really was.
I'm glad I missed it for as much as the travel delays sounded nightmarish. And if I would have traveled with you, as you called me and said, you would have killed me if you would have come on this trip with me, I probably would have come back east and you would have tried to fight your way west. And but I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you had a good time. I'm glad everybody got there safe.
You still have an opportunity. I think Mike was kicking around the idea of going to Portland and what was the other show? Seattle?
Portland and Seattle. So in Portland, I'm going to go to the Sasquatch Museum.
When
and
is
then
that?
in August 13th to 15th, maybe.
Oh.
Because I'm starting a new job on the 31st, and I'm just making it under the wire. Yeah, where I can
Nice.
go to it.
Is your new job going to keep you from coming to Massive Nights?
It might. It might if I'm in training. Yeah. Unless I get an airlines job, then I'm going to everything then. But
But yeah, Mike, Kev, why don't you join Mike on the Portland-Seattle trip? There you go. We got to get you out to
3 hour drive.
I love Seattle. I love going to that town. It's great. I know a lot of people there. It could be fun. I'll check my calendar. You know me. I'm a homebody. And after your rave review of how crowded it was for the Salt Shed, I could just imagine what a Seattle show might be like.
And yeah, my secret to the Salt Shed is I didn't realize I was wearing a super bright green shirt. I was wearing my Most People Are DJs shirt, my Twin City Trash Bin shirt, and people kept sending me pictures because they could see me and Gaspar because I had this bright green shirt in the middle.
It was easy to find him.
It's easy in the crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like a great thing. I'm glad you had a good time. I'm glad for both of you. I would have loved to have seen everybody, but Massive Nights is right around the corner. We are less than 6 months at this point. I mean, really, it's 6 months away for the most part. So I got plenty of time to get ready and prepare for that. I think everybody knows that I am the homebody, but I'm excited for the seated show. I'm jealous that there was another seated show I missed, that Mike had great seats. I'm waiting for that.
We'll get you one of those for sure.
I want a seated show. So. But also, we've had a bunch of people send us show ideas, so we appreciate you listening. We appreciate the possibilities and the suggestions. We are probably going to get to all of them at some point. This one has been a lot of fun. We hope everybody had a great time in Chicago. We appreciate you all listening and checking it out. Like Mike has been glowing this show. I think we've set a record on this show for the most speak pipes in one episode. I can easily say we have not had an episode with more speak pipes than this, and I'm sorry it took travel delays. So if you want to just say something nice and positive for the next one, go right ahead. If anybody has Freddie Knuckles suggestions, you know what? Write your own Freddie Knuckles and make them a speak pipe.
I will 100% read them.
We will
100% read them.
You know what? In fact, we'll just cut in. If the speak pipe is better, which is easy, if it's better than anything, Gaspar will come up. And as soon as Mike goes, Gaspar, how you doing? We'll just play your speak pipe instead of him.
Ooh,
and we could just pick up from there. Isn't that fun? That's called producing, people. That is called
speak pipes. I like that. Yeah,
that is called producing. But I think that's going to do it for us, right? I think we covered it all. So,
it's been a long one.
It's been a long one. Will be some fun editing, but we appreciate everybody who's checking us out. The numbers have been up. If you haven't listened to the Tad episode, go back. Great conversation. We really do appreciate Tad coming on and talking about his solo stuff. We appreciate all the comments, all the likes, all the follows, everybody who's reached out in some way, shape, or form, because we do this because you listen. And that's why we're here, because we all have the same love for the band. So if you want to follow us, Gaspar, why don't you tell them where they could find us on socials?
Sure. So the best place to find everything Hood Rat Recap is our link tree, which is linktr.ee/the Hood Rat Recap. There you will find our social media, past episodes, and everything that we do. You can also go to the website, which we have up. We're still working on making it look cool, but we're getting there. It's thehoodratrecap.com. And Mike, if you wanted to have a repeat and maybe beat this record of 5 speak pipes in a single show, is it 5? It's 5.
Yeah.
How could they leave us a message if they had something to say? Why don't you tell the folks?
You can see how much fun it is now to leave a voicemail. Just click on the link in the show notes. It says SpeakPipe. It's just a voicemail. You just talk into your phone for 90 seconds. If 90 seconds isn't long enough, give us 2 or 3. Let us know what we got right, what we got wrong. If you think we're bragging too much about being at the show, we never want to sound that way. What we're trying to do is hopefully for the people that missed the show, like Kevin, we're just trying to give them the experience, so it hopefully feels like they made the show too. Because we've all missed shows, and and that's what we learned at this weekend. A lot of people missed the first shows and then made a miraculous resurrection and came back for the last show, and I think it was just amazing.
All right, well, that's Mike, that's Kevin, I'm Gaspar, and us guys, and all you guys and gals, we are all the Hood Rat Recap.
Yeah, Little Rock, Lizzie, Allison, Buddy, Kevin from Chicago, David, beaming in and then beaming out before we even know he is.
I thought they were FX. Well, they might be Hulu now. I think they were originally FX. Anyway, doesn't really matter. But it's always been Hulu.
Yeah.
Okay. I will take that again.
No, just leave it in. It's perfect.
Okay.
It's great when you're wrong.
This was a production by Secret Suburb Studio.